Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blending smooth like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, think the proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out, all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it, another stream, another live. You know where you're at. You're at a Spartan XQ Network. I am the Spartan, aka Peter. What is going on? How is everybody doing tonight? We have a doozy for you guys tonight. So, me and my little assistant been talking, and he wanted to do, and he's giving me a weird look in the backstage right now. My little assistant and we had an idea. Let's do a show on the worst video game top movies, and the list is so fucking big. I don't know where to start and where to end. So, with no hope bars, no less entertainment, let's get this guy in here. My special guest, my personal little assistant, little group.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, Paul. Ain't nothing little here. I'm taller than him, bigger than him.
You know what?
So
Here,
how's
I
that little?
do want a better one for you. Here.
Better.
That is his morning wake up call.
I prefer that than that.
Now his coffee. David, what's going on, my man? How are you been tonight, man?
Long day, stuck in my head too much, trying not to be caught in the twilight. Just
Welcome to my life.
tell me about it. Oh, you doing the same thing, but I'm doing this. 99 cents.
You know, I actually got these from the store. They're not too expensive. The whole case is like $10 for like a whole case.
This is why I like New York City. 99 cents.
No, I can get
Or
those 99
$12
cents still. Oh yeah, I can get a 90 cents up around here in PA too. But you know, come on, you're not a New Yorker without drinking a nice cold Long Island iced tea. But before I go to the show, I want to ask you a question, David. Do you drink at all?
No,
You don't drink.
I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do
No.
none of that. I'm sorry.
It's not like I want to ask you a question. Do you find drinking a cold glass of whiskey mainly, or do you think it's not a thing anymore?
From my personal perspective, I will ask this logical question: what are the health benefits me drinking any type of alcohol beverage to begin? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. What it do for my body? Did it keep me going, or it slowly decay my body in certain areas that I may not be aware of?
Okay, so by
That's
drinking,
my approach.
I'm not talking about getting drunk. I'm saying this relaxing.
I
One
know
day,
it. I'm not saying about getting drunk, but
one drink. I'm talking about one drink at a
mhm.
bar or at a cigar lounge or at a meeting, whatever, a social gathering, whatever, a social drink. I'm talking about.
It's hard for me to agree with it because let me tell you
Hey, Mario, what's
how
going
I
on?
was up, how I was brought up. I've been around men in my life, including my father, my uncle, who like to drink a lot, to drink all kind of things. But I never find anything good about it. I was that kid who was curious, and I go behind the back and I tried it. I never liked. I'm sorry, I never liked it, not one bit. I'm that one individual. I never want to taste alcohol at all. Even though I try, the level of irritation it get to me so much to the point I don't want to deal with it no more. You take me to a bar, I'm gonna waste your liquor. I would not. I'll take a sip and waste the whole thing.
No, and that's fine, and that's completely fine. I totally understand. I'm just curious on your point of view on it because I know you're like me. You're a man. End of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm a greedy man, but I always question myself why is that always. There you go.
I like that new sound effect for you, by the way.
It fit me better. That's why I be questioning things for more than 2 decades. Why I don't like alcohol. I had to ask
It's
myself
not
that
for
question.
everybody. Like, if I had a pick over hard liquor over a beer, I pick a beer. I love my Ying lager.
And I would have thought the same for me, but neither one worked for me.
You're a wine person,
Beer,
right?
the beer didn't work for me. Even the wine cooler, I'm kind of like,
Now,
I'll be
wine could a
rude.
regular glass of wine, red wine, or wine is actually good for you, bro. You know that, right?
I, this is why I'm considered to be very very rare. When you been around whiskey, Hennessy, all different type of hard liquor, in between light liquor, and you try each one and none fit you, it's kind of like saying maybe that's who I am.
Hmm. So here's my thing with you guys. All right, my whole team is sober people, so that's fine. But when I drink, I don't have to worry about driving anymore. I got you guys, so I don't have to pay for an Uber. You and Paul can drive me around and surf me around. Fuck yeah! It's the privilege of being the creator of Spartan Institute Network. It's a privilege of being the Spartan. Hey, Kahuna, I can sit back and be chauffeured around once for my life.
And that's another reason why I don't drink. I've been saving a lot of people who were drunk because
Oh, I never drink and drive. First of all, get that out of your
no,
head.
I didn't say drink or drive.
Yeah.
Here's a joke. Here's a real story. I was working in Best Buy at Intersection Lexington. We were going out as a team. One or two guys were drunk and they were wobbling. One of them went into a active street. I had to yank this guy off the street. This guy could barely walk. And he was literally wait. They can't even hold his liquor. I was like, why do I gotta save people all the time? That was one aspect. Another aspect, I had to save a girl who was not only drunk, there's a bunch of predator waiting for her. I had
Yeah,
to
that's the
put
thing with bars, bro.
I had to I
I'm
had
done
to
with the whole
pick
bar scene thing. I get
I
it,
had
bro.
picked this girl, put on my shoulder, walk her to her dorm, call her room and put her under a cold ass shower.
Yeah.
And then what? I say, you know how many predators were waiting for her to slip so they can pounce on her? And I consented to and the thing is, weeks later, she had to apologize to me. I was like, apologize me for what? I'm trying to protect your crazy ass
Yeah.
from these wolves out here. And I know they'll call me the cock blocker or whatever you want to call me, but my
No, you're not getting
morale,
talk. You're watching out for a friend because you never know what can happen. Let's be straight here. But
but even but
finish
thing
your
is,
sentence so we can get into to the
the
topic.
thing is that thing it kind of like
trigger
irkful.
you.
This is why trigger and irk. This is why when I see people get drunk around me, I ask the question: why not get drunk in the comfort of your own home, where it's safer for you, than being outside when you don't know who or what it's about? That is my concern. And that same female, years later, almost a decade or two, when I asked her, hey, how you doing? And she almost attacked. I said, oh, so you gonna attack the person who saved your ass? And she, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, it's funny how I still remember you, and you quick to jump off the gun, and you forget who protected your crazy ass. Yeah, oh, I'm so sorry. I told my husband about you afterward. I didn't know that was. I was like, okay, whatever.
All right.
She texted me for a whole week. Said, I'm sorry. I said, yeah, I forgive you. Whatever. Leave it. I like a big
So,
brother to a lot
David,
of people.
before we get too deep in that conversation, that's a conversation for a different different show,
Mhm.
like a gray area or Spartan arena. But we're both movie lovers, right, David?
I'm a movie fanatic for a specific reason, and that topic
You're a
is
gaming lover too, right?
oh gosh.
It's a yes or no answer,
I
David.
love video game, but I hate video game movies that are
All
not
right.
done properly.
Okay. Please educate us. Why do you hate them? I want to hear this.
Well, the first one that hit the list, this was based on an iconic anime called Fist of the North Star. If anybody remember back in the the, the era when anime hit hard, heavy in the US. It was Ken Shiro who he had the 7-star fist skills, whatever we want to call it. And when he hits you in those 7 points, your head explode, your body explode, that kind of thing. That was a hit anime during the era. Somebody decided to do a live action version of it. And when I saw it, I kind of like, I was not beyond shock. I was horrified. I was like, what in the blue devil is this? What in the abomination is this? It was, I wanted to curse, but I'm trying to find the word that fitted. It was so bad.
All right, so I have a couple here, a list here, that my second assistant brought up for me. All right,
Wally.
no,
Oh.
Chat GBT. You know, we don't get along because I don't. She's not getting paid for a while. She's suspended, so she has to do her work so I can put her back on payroll. All right, so number one is Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, that's another one.
So I
That's
haven't watched it in a long time, but from what I remember as a kid, it wasn't that bad. I thought as a kid, but as an adult, I might think differently. As a kid, remember, kids have a different point of view of movies. Remember that, all right? But back then, it wasn't.
I'm gonna be a special kid then.
David, I'm a lot younger than you. Fuck off. All right, Alone in the Dark. I don't remember that one actually. You know,
I don't remember seeing that one.
House of the Dead. Yeah, thank God I did not watch that. Where is it next? House of the Dark. This one I watched. I don't know if it was that bad actually. Is Street Fighter: The Legend of Chain Li. I
Oh,
think it was that bad. It wasn't a good Wing Commander.
oh.
I did not see Wing Commanders. I am happy. I did not waste my life on that one. Blood Rain. Another one I did not waste my life. Thank God. Dead or Alive.
Oh,
This
Lord.
one I actually wasted my life a lot on. Hitman.
Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme in that movie, it did not sit well. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, if you
Max
watch,
Payne.
if
I
you watch,
think that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
before you go down the list, let's stay where we are. That Street Fighter live action movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme in the movie portraying Guile.
I'm not talking
And-
about that. I'm talking about the newer one, the 09 Chantley. That is, they say that is worse than the original one.
Really?
That's
That was?
the-
Hold on,
yeah.
hold on. Time out. To all my audience who know these movies, which one was worse? Seeing M. Bison, who looked like he caught COVID way before we caught COVID. Because if you played the game, M. Bison was a hulk of a man. He was
Oh, he was
jacked.
beefy.
He was beefy and jacked up, right? Right or wrong? Let's look at the camera so people can understand. This M. Bison, who acted along with John Convan when he acted as God. This M. Bison was the first COVID victim before we got it, decades ahead. He lost whatever muscle definition he had in the game, evaporated in the movie. He was still flying, but without the muscles.
You're an asshole, dude.
I'm a, no. You know what? I'm an asshole. Look at the picture. What's going on, Tommy B? Look at the picture. Tommy, I know you know what I'm talking about. The Street Fighter movie with what's his name again? Slip my
I
mind.
don't remember the actor's name. I can look it up.
John Claude Van Damme. John Claude Van Damme
Okay.
acted as Cal. Look at the villain who portrayed M. Bison and compare it to the game version. You cannot tell me I am wrong for this. You cannot. You cannot tell me I'm wrong for it. Because everybody who watched it, we were all thinking the same thing. We were like, you can't find any beefy actors to portray M. Bison? You can't? Not at all? That's the best you can do? You found someone to portray E. Honda.
Bro,
Okay.
even
You found someone to
Van
portray
Damme.
Blanca.
Hey.
And Blanca was a little bit questionable.
Even Con Van Damme, he wasn't a good pick for that role because
I get it.
Let me finish.
Okay.
The actual character in the game, he's bulky, and Con Van Damme is scrawny as fuck. So let me finish my list really fast before we get into that. Okay, so it was Hitman. I left off Max Payne, Patrol. I'm not feeling with that. And honest mention, some of them I agree on this one, and some I don't agree with. All right.
Thank you, Tommy B. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And even he's laughing.
Hang on, David. Because after I'm done with the list, we can go right into it. All right. All right.
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat, the second one. They say it was worse than the first one. Okay, I'll give him that one. Resident Evil Rebirth. Yeah, I agree on that one too. Double Dragon. I totally agree on that one. They could have done a lot with that game or that movie. This one I have mixed feelings about because I didn't think it was a bad movie, but it was a bad version of a movie. The story wasn't solid. I have mixed feelings behind this. Assassin's Creed. The reason I have mixed feelings about it because obviously I'm a huge I gotta show it. A huge Assassin's Creed. I joke around people like, oh yes, Assassin's Creed. I'm not Assassin. I don't have Assassin's Creed. I am part of the Brotherhood. I fuck around people all the time. So we have two questions in the chat. Let's do that, and then we'll get right into it, David. Okay, so here's the first question: what are your ratings for the NCAA 26 running? I have no comment to that. To be honest with you.
comment.
Yeah. No offense, dude. I just don't know not enough to comment about it. And Tommy B's asking us. Oh no, not Tommy B. I'm sorry.
Marcus.
Marcus. I'm sorry. My bad, dude. I apologize. Where do you guys rank your worst?
This is not gonna be easy. I'm sorry. It's not gonna be easy.
I can't rate it because there's so many bad ones.
But
Where do you
think about
start?
it.
Where do you end?
Tommy know what I'm talking about when I talk about the Street Fighter movie. Because maybe I was in high school, but everybody was looking at each. When we got to the class the next week, when we saw it, you all look at each other and like, do you think something's wrong with this movie?
How old were you when you saw that movie? Do you remember?
I forgot what age. I was either a preteen or a teen. I can't remember, but
yeah,
I'll tell you this.
I was still in second grade when that came out. Second or
all I
third.
know is that movie was suspect on multiple levels. Because the one who got the worst rip wasn't John Claude Van Damme portraying Gal. The guy who got portraying M. Bison, it made it look super bad. It was so bad. It was uncalled for. I was like, wait. Why would you do a video game movie if you don't have the character to fit the role? It's the same with like the X-Men. No disrespect. The first X-Men, when they got Sabretooth, he was looking like Doggertooth. Unintended. The
Okay,
Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie compared to the Sabretooth in Wolverine Origins.
all right, I'm gonna
They were
give you
the
one more list. I'm giving you another list. Okay, this is from Google. All right, my backup of a backup assistant.
Mhm.
And she's not getting paid either. So because she doesn't perform well enough for me.
I wonder why.
Fuck you. All right, Mario Brothers still on number one. Still that. Um, Mortal Kombat is second. Also, Street Fighter is the third place. Alone in the Dark, Resident Evil, 02. I think the first Resident Evil movie wasn't that bad. As people
No,
think.
the first one wasn't bad. The second one was questionable. I think the Resident Evil franchise it wasn't bad. It was just questionable.
Yeah. Another list from also from Google. It says Super Mario Brothers. Damn, they've already butchered Super Mario Brothers here, guys.
You have not. No, just Super
It's
Mario
been a year
Bros.
since I watched it. I'm not putting myself through torture.
No,
Yeah.
what? I hate to say that. Let me be vicious. The Super Mario Bros. Is the best movie for interrogation. How about that?
For what?
For interrogation.
No, not even.
You know why I say that? Have the arcade watch that movie several times over and will ask, what the are you trying to brainwash me with this crappy ass movie? I can't take it. That movie was pure crap. It did not fit the game. It did not match the game. It was so I don't know what to tell you. It was like, ugh. This is why I remember we have all our debate about the movie production theater in the US have become crappy as hell. Because whenever you do any adaptation of any video game or any comic books or any books, there's a high chance they're gonna screw it up. Let's not forget Dragon Ball Z.
Hang on. All right. This is
All
this list is
52
up.
video game movie ranked.
All right, ready?
Oh Lord.
Number 52 is his
Hold on. I never played the game.
yeah, me neither.
Minecraft movie?
The what?
No, you passed Minecraft movie. I didn't never watch the I saw the preview, I was not feeling it.
I heard it was actually really good. That's a funny part.
I wasn't feeling it 'cause I'm not into Minecraft.
Prince of
Prince of
Persia.
Persia, I need to get a chance to watch it to see how
I didn't
fun it
either, but I
is.
heard it was pretty bad. Assassin's Creed, we
Assassin's
talked
Creed,
about already. Alone in the Dark.
Need for Speed.
I heard that was actually pretty good, bro.
Is so Warcraft.
Warcraft.
No, Warcraft wasn't live action. It's more CGI
Do you count that as yeah?
in a way. And I wasn't too sure. I was like,
Yeah.
so
So
what?
Death Trigger.
Never played that game.
Commander?
I don't have to throw that one. Wing Commander.
Okay, we talked
Mortal
about
Kombat Annihilation. That's the second movie.
yeah, that's what we talked about before.
Okay, it did. No, let's pause it. Mortal Kombat Annihilation was a letdown to the first movie. The first movie hit the box office. It did very well. It wasn't great,
Mhm.
but it did very well. When they saw the Annihilation version, part two, it was almost like a shit show. Too many things was not adding up. The production was not done too well. So yeah, it was very,
It
very
seemed like it was a
questionable.
movie right to DVD. I mean VCR video.
That's what it was. Because I'm
Was it
sure
in theaters? Because
I'm sure
I
Tommy
wasn't in the
B.
country at the time.
Tommy B with the gun on the panel, I'm sure he will say a lot about that movie. That
He come
movie
up.
was feeling,
He's welcome to come up. I have to link in the chats.
it was feeling some kind of way. So I wasn't feeling that at all. That's the facts.
All right. So
Borderland, that one, I never played the game as much to really judge it, but I'm not sure if they got close to the game. I didn't play much, but seeing the character, I was trying to see who they're trying to play, who they following. Now, Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li. Uh,
Like I said originally, I didn't think it was that bad a movie, personally.
I still think the first one was worse than this one.
Oh yeah,
Remember,
absolutely.
the first one was way worse than this one. The Legend of Chun-Li, I want to tell you that bad as the first one, but it was too bad.
Five Nights of Freddy's.
Okay, that probably some kind of horror-like movie kind of thing, but I never played that. I'm not sure to judge it. Resident Evil Afterlife, like I said, the Resident Evil franchise is very questionable.
Afterlife wasn't the best one. It was
It
like
wasn't the best one, but
after the second and third, they got very cheesy.
no. Here's the problem: the director was trying to find a way to put his girlfriend or wife at the time, who the head actress, in different space in that role. And the question is, were they following the game or not? That was the big question. I didn't play all the Resident Evil games, so I can safely say they weren't following the game. They were trying to follow a different script. So to speak. Remember, I told you before, when you do the adaptation, you put to follow what you're basing off. But when you're not following it, then that's when I hit. Remember, Paul Bennett said, you can't expect any adaptation of any book or comic again to be close in the movie. Which we understand. We get it. We understand it. But here where you have a problem. When you make an adaptation based on any source material, the term adaptation, you need to understand what kind of fan base is behind it. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot complain. Oh, you cannot. No, you have to every right to judge. Because when you do the adaptation is meant to you want to see if you get close to the book or not, or get close to the game or not, whatsoever. Meaning, people want to see what they love or they follow so hard to see how it will look on the big screen or on the TV screen. So guess what? You put a lot of pressure on the producer, on the director, to at least get as close as you can be to the material. But when you decide to go another direction, which is not aligned with the material, then you have every right to be heavily criticized.
Yeah,
Either you
here's
like
my
it
thing with
or you
Resident Evil,
don't.
bro. Here's my issue with Resident Evil. Like I said, first one I think was good. Second one, pretty good. Third one wasn't. Oh, I'll give them credit for that one. After that, they started getting stupider and stupider and stupider.
And that's the
Because
issue.
they were adding a lot of things that were not in the games. And I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I don't like the new Village stuff, but I do like the old school stuff, like the remake games. Holy shit, I love the remakes, bro. They're fucking awesome. I don't care anybody tells me. I think they're one of the best games. All right. So Hitman. Yeah, and I'm gonna skip that one because I'm not gonna go there.
Uncharted.
Let me down a lot because Uncharted, the graphics and alone with the game is fucking incredible. They have all the stories right in their fucking hands, and they dropped it. Like Uncharted is not the type of movie you have to worry about focusing on a lot of CGR or nothing like that. It's stuff they're doing in the game is like, okay, realistic stuff. Jumping off of a building. Okay, you can jump off a building and land in a fucking pool and survive. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing. For those who play Uncharted and play the game deeply, and you hear about they're going to do a movie, you expect to see a level of similarity regardless.
It was no similarity, bro. It was nothing.
So here's my thing. If you try to make money making a movie, and your movie is based on an original source, what the chance is about your audience group, whereby 60 to 80% will be die-hard fan? What the chance will be high? Would it not be?
Extremely high because Uncharted was one of the best games of the year.
So this destroy. I hate to say this, but Mr. Paul Better, I know you don't like this, but this destroy your argument. Because if other countries around the world who making movies based on the original source and they get it as close as they can get to the source, whereby people give high praise to the production, how much more when you do this in the US and you do the total opposite, and you get a piss poor movie. Because let's be real, movie production is all based on a fundamental called art, right? It's not
Yeah.
art, it's or not. So when you put in lackluster effect on a particular art form, then why should we praising that? Then what's the point of it then? Hmm? If that's the case, then leave the books alone. Leave the comic books alone. Leave the game alone. Be original with your own thing, and we judge by your creativity. If you don't,
Here's the thing with Uncharted. Like I said, bro, Uncharted, it wasn't something that would like how can I put this? I'm trying to think of a movie, a game they haven't made yet, or a movie they made. Something in it, in like, okay, Halo that is very futuristic. It's gonna focus very hardcore. Doom, there you go. Doom is a great example. Doom that focused very hard on fucking CGI and graphics. Yeah, graphics you got to any movie, but it didn't have to focus that hard because this is like, exploring, freaking Greece or Egypt.
okay, let me throw it out there. Final Fantasy. You don't think that the heavy fan base that follow that game?
Yeah, of course. It's one of the biggest game series out there.
So remember, they did the American version of it, and it was nowhere near the.
Oh, the Spirits, the Final Fantasy Into the Spirits or some shit like that. The Final
Yeah.
Spirits, some shit. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it.
It was an okay movie, but
I liked it.
here's the problem. It was based off the game, right?
No, it wasn't.
The title, Final Fantasy, that title is based off the game.
That's it. Nothing else was based on it.
So when people heard Final Fantasy within the spirit, you don't think a lot of people think it will be based on the game? So unless you create an infringement in legal aspect, that's an infringement. You made a movie based on a popular name of a game. People came to the theater hoping to see it, and they found out nowhere near, not even close to the game. What want to say? Then the people who produced that game decide to make an even better CGI movie that is closer to the game, but even better. They did Final Fantasy Advent Children.
That one made more sense because they follow
and
Final Fantasy 7.
In that movie, if you were to be played on the movie theater in present time in 4K, it would have been sold out.
I don't doubt it.
So much to the point whereby it hurt the people who tried to do that same run and let them know you're not gonna make the type of money if you're doing.
So let me ask you a question, David, because I don't remember, and that's what I'm asking me. And you're older, and maybe you remember. Not trying to knock your grandfather age. The Final Fantasy second one, did that come straight to DVD or did it go straight to theaters?
Spirit Within?
No, the other one. The child one.
It came in DVD in the US because it was already hitting the theater in Japan. And they said they would do a special theater promotion where it would be only in select theaters. But there's a licensing issue. Remember, this is the IP issue. Final Fantasy belonged to Sony, the Japanese division, so to speak. And when they did have it in theaters, right? At the time, on select theaters, they already got to the DVD already. I think the reason is either because of the IP issue or they were trying to block it. Because first and foremost, if they had it on multiple all over the theaters, you know what I'm saying? It would have generated way too much money for Sony. And the production company that produced it was close to the game. So there's a market dispute going on whereby why don't let certain things go nationwide like other countries have done.
Yeah.
You gotta ask that question.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to this list really fast. So 36
Silent
Hill. I never played the game. It was never something I read about it, but I never interest my attention, if that makes sense. Hitman Agent 47. That was okay. I'll give it an okay score. Resident Evil we already talked about. This one interests me a little bit. Lara Croft.
Okay,
Um,
that is
Go
where
first.
the question mark goes to. I did a lot to pick on this. Did a
Go.
lot.
Go first.
Reason why I first said I was thinking when Angelina takes to do this thing, right? I played the game heavy. I played the first one, the second one, and the third one, right?
Okay.
I was assuming that maybe she could take it serious because remember she made sure she was close to the look. And let's be real. Let everybody be honest here. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Well,
When
she put
everybody
the
saw
character
when
pretty
everybody
well.
saw Angelina go portray that character, everybody thought she was the closest to portray it, right? But when you start to watch the movie, Creator of Life, then you start to question again, like, hold on. It's not matching the game. So what direction this is? What game was it referring to? So there was a mixed bag. Now, to those who, I hate to say that, they're crushed with Angelina Jolie during the 2003 era, they were Google got her overlooked. I think they would have paid attention to the storyline compared to those who are diehard fans who actually play the game. There was a mixed bag on that. But I hate to say this. It was like unfair. She was a sex idol,
Oh,
a sex symbol.
absolutely.
So if you were to argue among men who play the game, you would have some they didn't care because she looked good in the movie. And you have some people who didn't like it because it didn't follow the game. So you would have a diehard fan versus the hormone fan. You get my point. Hormone, aka that's what it was. So that one you have to debate this thing because did she make the movie seem good? Yeah, to a degree. Did they follow the game? Not exactly. Was it worth watching? Mixed review.
Okay.
She did two movies, mind you. She did this one and another one right after that. And the
I
other
know it was.
one,
I know it
and
was
the other
still
one, I wasn't really okay with it. It felt flat.
rushed. It felt rushed.
Wally, get your butt in here.
Yeah, seriously, get your ass up here. You don't have a choice.
You are no different from me, so you understand how I felt. This is what I'm saying. I found it as this, I don't know. The director and the producer, they thought, oh, they can get away with the first one because she was a sex idol, a sex symbol. Okay, let's do it again second time and see if we can get more money. No, it didn't do well. So I thought to ask the question like, is it me, or you're trying to tell us exactly that the United States of America lack the creativity to make a great movie? All you can do is do adaptation, and you fell out doing it more than you
The
succeed.
first one I thought it was good, but I never played those games back the original as a
Oh,
kid.
play the first, second, and the third Laura Croft. Heavy.
And now I've been told it's listen, Lara Croft, let's be straight up here for everybody out there. I don't care if you disagree or not. You can disagree in the comments if you want. I'm okay with that. But when Lara Croft came out, Wally, I am gonna kick you in the head.
Yo, Wally, we need your voice up in here. So you felt the same way too about some of these things too. So don't yeah, come on.
So with Lara Croft, and it's been said in a lot of different interviews, Lara Croft was the first woman sex symbol video game.
Right after she the first sector compared to the second one with the Transformer movie. But you know who was in the movie.
That's a movie. I'm talking about from video game into into a movie directly.
You got a point. You got a point.
So
this,
go ahead.
it's just that I want to be happy. You take a game that was a huge popularity. Lovecraft Tomb Raider have a major popularity on the PlayStation side of things. They had a huge fan base. And what's disturbing about, yes, she was almost a mirror image of the character based on looks. I'm 6 foot tall, Wally. Anyway, it's
Oh,
I,
Roddy,
I, I, I feel
short
like I
people
feel
are
like I feel like with the highway.
tall people.
I feel like with
Tall
the
people are
highway
easy to
robbery.
take down. I do have a martial art background, but
feel
I
like
am kidding. So keep that in mind.
I feel like it was a highway robbery when they did this movie, but they intentionally did that on purpose. A lot of time I get know the debate talk about that particular movie. People were saying that they rip off the people who were so heavy into this, and when they realized it was crappy because the second one made it obvious that
Mhm.
movie was flat. The direction of the movie would not make any sense. I tell you, you're hoping that lightning about to hit twice. It did not hit twice. It was a dud. Yes, she was a sex move for the movie. Okay, I hear you. So believe me when I say that, I didn't feel too good about the movie and the franchise. I was like, you need to stop doing this. It's ridiculous. And this is becoming a common thing, especially in the video game arena. You're making a movie
So
based, and this one, she is the poster child of highway robbery. We can all agree she was a mirror image to the actual character in the game based on figure. She fit the she fit the detail
it's
down to the
funny you
T.
said that, David, because did you play the remakes any chance?
I didn't get a chance to play the movie. I think they made it whereby
The remakes are they're three. They're extremely good. They even said the remakes are better than the originals because they're more
mm,
ground to real life stuff. All right,
mm,
one. Now, after these the games came out, they're already in a production. Boom! We have a hit on us, and let's do it. They made a movie. The character who they picked, they fits her to the T. It was very, very, very close to the game. I was very surprised. I'm not sure where this list falls. In the movie will fall down one list. I think it's going to be close to the bottom. To be honest, I thought.
she made too much money off of this movie.
Which one?
Laura Crawford, Angie Jolie, you don't
And
understand.
remember the two Laura Crofts. This one and the 2000 one.
It's 2003.
2020. I'm talking about.
Another movie again?
Yeah, bro. That's what I'm telling you right now. Here, hang on. Let me look it up. Give me a second. Make my life a little easier. Copy and paste.
Maybe I didn't see it.
Lovecraft. The name of the movie is called Tomb Raider. Actually, is it Tomb Raider? Hang on.
Hmm.
No.
I may have missed it because I did not see it. All I know that Angelina Jolie made a killing on the first movie.
Yeah, Tomb Raider. I was right. That's what the name of the movie is called.
But everybody was saying that she mirrored that character so hard.
But this chick mirrors the new version better. I'm telling you. Remember, it's a new version of her now.
I'll have to check for it to see it. I really have.
Yeah. So let's get back to this for a second. And I want to see where the Lara Croft 2.0 falls on this list. I'm curious now.
Let's keep going.
Monster
Hunter. That was a shit show.
Here, I'm surprised.
Hold on. Mortal Kombat 2021. This one almost, how I want to say it, it almost like a makeup for the last Mortal Kombat movie, but the part on the particular character Jax was in a lot of question. You know why I say that, right?
Why?
In the second movie, Jack was showing up there, right? He had some weird armor thing on his arm, right?
Oh,
He
those are
had,
mechanical arms.
yeah, they took it off his arm to show his real arm, right? Okay, fine. They bought this new Jack for compared to the other Jack, whereby he actually lost both arms, and he got some weird attachment on his arm, whereby when he had confidence in himself, it just morphed into a new arm altogether. That was questionable. Sub-Zero character was pretty good. Scorpion character were pretty good. Found out Scorpion have a son, which is not in the game. Big question mark. What direction of this storyline is, unless it's a sidetrack story which have not been put into the game, or maybe I don't know it's in the game to begin with. This one is a debate dispute. To all the heavy Mortal Kombat fan, if you want to do a discussion on this movie, you would dissect it to the point whereby where you feel like it is a redemption, or whether you feel like it's still another question mark. For the director to remember it, the two main characters were done properly, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. It was done very, very well. Liu Kang, Kung Lao, questionable. Radiant, now you have to compare this Radiant to the old Radiant. Which one was better?
That's a rough one because they're two different category games, movies. Because this is a reboot completely, and they didn't follow the game at all.
Now you get my points.
Yeah,
What
but
I'm
in
saying,
a good way. I thought Mortal Kombat 01, it was a really good game. I liked it.
I like the plot,
Yeah,
but
I like how they also did Mortal Kombat. I mean, I'm sorry, not Mortal Kombat. Sub Zero and Scorpion, the rivalry they were having.
I totally agree with you. But here the issue: it had a good plot. Issue is what the plot mirroring to,
One
because
thing I would say, David, I don't think this should be our 31. I think we should lower to the list because they're already green lighted a not green lighted, it's beyond green light at this point. Is they're already almost done with the script. If they haven't even cast yet, Mortal Kombat 2.
now you see why I say this is the dispute, because here's the problem: we anybody who followed the Mortal Kombat franchise, the game went to an era whereby this is Mortal Kombat 11, I believe. Hold on, son, come here. Later dinner, I'll talk to my you will hear my son voice, and I'll go pick his brain. Mortal Kombat 11 was the last Mortal Kombat before they did Mortal Kombat 1. That's correct? Come here. Mortal Kombat 11 was the last game before they did the Mortal Kombat 1 game, right? So if I'm correct, the Mortal Kombat 11 was quote unquote somewhat rebooted based on the storyline whereby there's a new Mortal Kombat with Mortal Kombat 1, right? Yeah. Okay, fine. So I'm compared with my son because he played the game as much as I do. And the storyline on the Mortal Kombat 11 it showed that on Luke Kane, we revamped the storyline. So did a new storyline for Mortal Kombat. Now, question is, did new Mortal Kombat game that they matched this movie? This is 2021. The Mortal Kombat 1 game came out what? 2022, 2023, right? Mortal Kombat 1. You search it right now. What year they came out? I'm using my son as my assistant right now. The Mortal Kombat 1 game came out in 2023, right?
Mhm.
So the question you gotta ask with this Mortal Kombat 2021 movie, where did it fall? With Mortal Kombat 11 game, or did it fall on a Mortal Kombat 1 reboot game? Because it's not adding up.
I think
That's a
neither. I
dispute.
think it was a new their own universe,
Bingo.
and I don't think it was a bad because, like I said,
I know. I'll be honest. Like
81
I
I think
said,
was better than the 98.
yes, it was, but it's
98 or
still
was it 95?
either way. It's still. I think it was a 97. I don't know, but it was still a dispute for the simple fact that you doing a whole new universe, a whole new storyline, with a whole different Radiant, the whole different Liu Kang. Because the Liu Kang of the yesteryear movie, he's old, so you got to get a new young character to portray Liu Kang and Kung Lao, so to speak. We get that, we understand it, but the storyline is it was fishy in a lot of ways. Even Shang Tsung was different. The storyline was kind of fishy, so you're trying to make sense. What direction are you going with this? But the casting, they did some good casting on certain characters. Even the Kano here seemed to be a little bit better than the Kano in the old movie. So I would say that right now, it's a mixed bag. So this one movie, I can say, if you were to debate on this movie with a hardcore Mortal Kombat fan, they would tear it apart on multiple areas. We might have to go back to the list. Which character did well, and based on all the characters in the movie. And I bet you the top on the list, or the two characters who did well, is Scorpion Sub-Zero, hands down. Rating will be in the question mark. Samsung will be in the question mark. Liu Kang and Kung Lao will be in the question mark. Sonya will be in the question mark. Kano, maybe yeah, he did pretty good. For all the other characters, even Jack could be more in the question mark.
The whole Mortal Kombat is franchise as a movie is a question mark because there's so much to go over.
And the thing is, that franchise got a massive fan base who stay true to the game.
I agree. All right, let's
So
get to the
when
next one.
okay, you clip them call you will have me throw this one to the point where
I gotta cut you off, David. I know you ran him off sometimes. You're worse than a woman sometimes.
no. I'm a nerd. This is
House of Dead. House of
why
Dead.
why would I done worse than me? Because he would tell you the same thing. That Mortal Kombat thing is a very huge
No,
issue.
I'm not disagreeing with it one bit. That's why I'm cutting that off and moving forward because we got
Good.
more to go over, and we can swing back later if we're done to the list for House of Dead. I have no comment on that one because I haven't seen it, to be honest, with you guys, and I have no desire to watch it because I'm not a fan of the series. Final Fantasy Spirits with we already talked about that.
I did bend to that one already, so
Yeah, Dead or Alive, it's whatever to me. Resident Evil Apocalypse.
we talked about that one too as well. Like I said, the franchise itself is questionable.
Yeah.
But the Dead or Alive, go up to Dead or Alive. You cannot just walk past that one. Look what they said about Dead or Alive. They say that DLA got a lot of point of being such a good nature video game movie. It got a lot of Bloodsport in it. Yeah, it felt like Bloodsport, but it did not meet the game. It was kind of like you. This is what I'm saying. When you do an adaptation of a movie and you do something completely different from the game, you're trying to understand what direction are you going with this. I know you're doing the action pack, you're trying to do the action. Yeah, we get it, but still, the story.
Fighting games are very hard to do real life.
You think?
Because most of them don't have a storyline. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we did talk about Resident Evil already. Rampage.
Hold on.
With that. Because I haven't seen
Hold on. Rampage, The Rock. Okay, I've seen it maybe 3 times, and
it. Is that good? Actually, you watched it 3 times
on TNT, and I'm trying to understand this. The Rock was the main character in the movie. He partnered with a CGI overgrown gorilla. something in that movie, it was kind of like I don't know why you put it extra. Imagine a overgrown gorilla know how to talk to you, but what they were doing a lot, they were doing a lot of the gorilla were doing this a lot. Yeah,
I'm not trying to be a smart ass, but
yeah, but that if you watch the movie, you be like you be cringe. You're like, no, you didn't. Oh gosh, seriously. They they back on forth whereby the gorilla was dipped in the rock, giving him the middle finger, cursing him out, acting like he's some head of his own gang of gorilla. It was kind of like I don't know. I don't like. Hold on. The Rock destroyed Doom. Doom were based on a game. Like be real. Did you do well with that movie? No. And you do this? Rampage? Look what it says. Rampage falls short on two fronts related to The Rock. It's not the best video game adaptation. That honor stay with Doom. And it's not the best video game movie of 2018. You see that?
yeah.
Alicia Pull-Up stay undefeated, regardless of its higher aggregated critical rating. It is, however, worthy of landing in the upper third of his list, which isn't nothing. There's a giant alligator, a giant wolf, a giant albino gorilla, a giant Dwayne Johnson making jokes about how giant he is, a giant Joe Mangarino, and perhaps best of all, a regular sized Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who in Nate Swagger could lay them all to the waist. Like that vulture editorial, me was a giant piece of shit.
For Rampage, you mean?
You see what it said? It was the best game adaptation. He did that worse with Doom. Now it's a video game movie. He crap on that, and you would do this too? Like, come on. Oh,
I think it's kind of funny. I'm not playing the audio because I don't want to get copy striked.
I know. Look.
It is kind of funny if you think about it. You just get a fucking finger. He's like, "Come here, little fucker! Come here, little fucker!" I gotta watch it now. It looks kind of funny, to be honest with you. I want to see if he's actually that as bad as they say it is.
yeah, but the thing is, you have to play the Rampage game. And when you look at that one, you have to realize it was just.
Oh shit! My bad.
Go back to the list. Go back to the list.
I hit the wrong button. Shut up, dude.
No, you shut up.
You shut up.
Let's go down. You shut up.
We're going to do that.
Now I'll let you press that button. So there you go.
You've reached your limit on talking.
That's for you.
Shut the fuck up.
Thank you.
Kiss
Mother.
my
You shut the
hairy
F up.
freak shiny ass.
Ew. Pause.
Yeah. All
Max
right,
Payne.
so-
Oh, I don't know. I can't say it was all great. My brother played that game when I was playing with him. We had the PlayStation 2. And seeing the movie, it was kind of like mixed review. We're not sure if it got closer or not. Max Payne was a very cool. Like, you know what made the game so popular? The fact that you can do it a slow mo.
Yeah, back
gun
then it was
actions.
in early 2000s because the Matrix, that was the biggest thing. Slow mo was everywhere because the Matrix did it.
It was heavy on this game. It was.
Oh, I know it was, but I'm saying Matrix made it popular.
I know. So that one, I hate to say it, that would be another discussion of all the people who played the Mac Payne. We would have sit down and did they did well or what could have done different.
So I want to talk about the next game, this movie a little bit. I did watch this one.
Okay,
All right.
This one, the new version.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be very objective. The new version somewhat did a whole lot better than the last one. This one is more comical, sort of thing, yet it had all the characters in the game, hand down. But
They have more than a character. They explore other universes too.
I know. Here's where the problem comes to play. Will they follow any of the storyline of all the Super Mario Brothers throughout like the genre? No, it did not. Were they comical? Yes. Were
So
they funny?
here's where
Yes.
I think it took a hit for a lot of people. All right, was the voices. Chris Pratt, great actor. He does a lot of movies. For example, we have him in Guardian of the Galaxy, Jurassic Park. Passenger does an incredible fucking movie. Or is it? Give me another one here. Garfield. Garfield kind of sucked actually, but you get the idea where I'm going with this. Wanted, great fucking actor. Can't talk shit about him. But when you hear his voice and you're expecting a short little me Mario kind of like thing, the voice fucks it up. Now, if you go to the ratings for it, where are they? Okay, here they are. For Mario, ready? IBM gave it 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 59%.
Here's the problem. It would have been good for the kids. My kid watched it a couple of times on Netflix. It's on Netflix. It's on Hulu. I'm sure it's on Amazon Prime. But the only thing that I would, no disrespect, it may sound like I was biased. I was actually enjoying the ass whooping that Mario was getting from Donkey Kong. That's how much I enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's how we feel. Because I hate to say it, the movie was not really filling me, but the moment it got to the part where Donkey Kong was laying the smackdown on his retarded candy ass, I was enjoying that part.
That is part of the movie I had an issue with. Donkey Kong is a different franchise.
Look, besides being a different franchise, let's be
different universe too.
Let's be logical about it, and let's be down to the facts. Donkey Kong came before Mario Brothers.
Both of them were together actually. It was
no. The reason why they were both together, but the game was labeled Donkey Kong. Let's be real.
Was it Donkey Kong? I'll look it up right now.
All my game fanatic, if you play the Nintendo era, you all know Donkey Kong was the franchise before Mario Brothers came to existence. Mario Brothers was a spin-off of a Donkey Kong. The original Donkey Kong game with the big gorilla. Was it the big gorilla?
Okay, we're both wrong and right at the same time.
Okay.
So in the United States, it came out in 1981, appeared in arcade known as Donkey Kong, where he known as in Japan at Jumper Man. And in some other regions of the world, he was known as Plumber Man.
There you go. But here's the thing. Donkey Kong was throwing barrels down.
No, I'm not arguing that part. The name I was arguing. So we're not both wrong, but we're not right either.
Okay, fine.
But
the game was the game in America. Yeah, you get a point. But the game was called Donkey Kong out here in the U.S. It was all based on a gorilla throwing down barrels down the ramp, and Jumper Man job was to jump over the barrel and get to the top. And sooner or later, it became a spin-off whereby they take him out of the game and create Mario Brothers, whereby instead of fighting against the gorilla, they would fight against a Bowser, a muscle-bound turtle with spike on his back.
Mm-hmm. So again, he was still in the princess. The whole 9 yards. You know that story has never changed in Mario. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we totally get that, but just that this movie, to be real with everybody, it created a lot of question marks.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline was completely new. It didn't match any of the games, but you're trying to understand what direction you're taking with this.
Yeah.
Because
So the next one
here's the thing: if they were the direction you're taking, here's the bad part. You now have to make the game that it's to the storyline you put in the movie.
this is again a different universe. I think the game. Hang on. The video game movies now. They're not following the storyline. They're making their own universe. They're taking a baseline.
And no different from Iron Man when they did the same with the anime, and all of a sudden, based on the movie, they changed the whole storyline in the movie and the game. No, in the game and comic
And
books.
Paul said himself, he cannot be, movies and comic books or movies and books cannot be based. I think it's the same concept. Video games and movies are not going to be the same, unfortunately.
But if that's the case, then why in some situations, based on the movie, they end up changing the game to follow the movie? Answer that question.
Maybe we can answer that when we get a little closer down to the list. So the next one is Blood Rain.
Question mark.
Isn't that with the vampire chick?
Mm-hmm.
I never played the game. I never really was interested in the movie.
I never got to play deeply as much because I was all into the Legacy of Kain. Everybody who knows about Legacy of Kain? Legacy of Kain was a popular game for the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. Later on, the Legacy of Kain, the spin-off called was Soul Weaver. That's what it was.
So
I'm a game guy. I'm a heavy game guy.
I played the Angry Birds. It's a nice little game if you're taking a shit. I'll be honest. When it first came out, everybody was addicted. I was one of those guys too. Pause.
Play that sound. Play that sound for yourself.
Which one?
No, yeah.
Oh, you mean this one?
This is Sparta!
No. The other one. The one that can play for me. Play the one you
that's
play.
yes, I'm not giving that to myself. No, I'm the host.
No, you give it. No, you give it to what you just did right now.
So
give that to yourself. No, that's unfair. That's being biased.
Of course, I'm biased, asshole.
Then be objective. Be objective. You deserve that one. You deserve that.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
Now I feel better now.
What makes me interested?
Yeah, from this guy.
So what makes me interested about this?
He said,
hang on,
this
dude.
game was
hang on.
Okay.
So 21 and 22. It was that bad. They had to go back to 2 years in a row. Like the guy, double whammy on this one. There's no storyline to this. You're taking a bird and throwing them.
But here's the problem. They want the game for people like you who take the number 2 to play. Like your time in the number 2 will pass by. What's amazing about this movie, the game had no storyline whatsoever.
I agree.
None whatsoever. But they found that they were milking it with 1 and 2. It's amazing.
Yeah. So the next one is
Silent Hill.
Again, like I said earlier, the game never interested me to play in it. I know people is a great base on it. David, you know anything about this? I can't speak about something I have not played.
Silent Hill, one of those type of horror game that was very popular on the PlayStation 2. I believe.
I know it was very popular. Like I said, I never played it. I was playing other games at the time. I was into other stuff.
Based on rivalry between this one and Resident Evil, this game was the kind of game that, I hate to say this, ladies and gentlemen, it was a game that they use when guys want to play a game with their girlfriend and get them messed up in the head. So when you want to have a game night with your girl, they were using this game on purpose for to do what I'm talking about. It was a setup. Because the way the game was playing, it was scaring the hell out of a lot of people, especially when you play in the dark. Now, I didn't follow the storyline of this game, but from what I heard from people who watched the movie and they saw the game, they said they did not follow the game whatsoever. I don't know why. But I would have to play the game or go on YouTube and find the game tutorial and compare with the movie. If I find out what it is, then I can see why they say that. But Silent Hill was another huge franchise on a PlayStation side of things. I can't go in as much as I want to because any other game I will go brutally speaking. But that was the issue. Now the next one is a dilemma.
Okay, I have an issue with this one. Fucking damn it, I hate when my mouse does this.
Silent Hill.
No, Double Dragon.
Let me tell you the dilemma. Here's the problem. They thought out the game first, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did not. They
Yeah,
went
I
from a
agree.
game.
I'm not
No,
arguing.
they thought it from a game. Then went to cartoon / anime. And after that, they did a movie. So there's a lot of confusion going on. They were trying to milk the game because there's a level of popularity that came along with Double Dragon. The cartoon, somehow it was a hit on children television. Somehow it was a hit. But question is, did the cartoon follow the game? Yes or no?
No,
The mix, yes or no? The movie did not follow the game.
I don't think the cartoon followed the game at all. Actually,
I tell you, it's a hit or miss.
the only thing they followed, they were brothers. That's it. The only part, and they're martial artists. And that's it. So let's backtrack. Double Dragon was the most hardest arcade game and home games at the time.
What? Hardest?
One of the hardest, I said.
They one of the biggest fan base that came along with the video game boom.
No, I'm not arguing that. I said it was the hardest to beat, David.
I know it's hard, but
Yeah.
we're popular.
Again, I'm not arguing that, David. I'm agreeing with you. So I don't know
know.
why you say what like it was. I was arguing with you.
I know. I'm just added. And I think you're. I'm just added on to it.
All right, it made you sound like I was arguing with you.
No. You and I, we both know this. Dragon Ball game was a household name game to a lot of young boys.
Mhm.
It was a household name. You cannot say you can't say you went to school and not talk about Dragon Ball. Come on, Double Dragon. You cannot tell me. If you play with the game back then. On the early game console. You can't. Either look, I think it was a Nintendo. Was it on Nintendo? Yeah, it was on Nintendo. You cannot tell me you never played Nintendo and not played Double Dragon. It was the most talk about game among young boys. I'm sure you're aware of that.
I am.
But the fact that they did the movie and it was nowhere near the game nor the cartoon, you kind of like, what's over this storyline? This why I'm telling this. Why should I come here? Because there's a lot to say about this Double Dragon.
All right, so Double Dragon is here's my thing. The game was beyond excellent. I personally think.
Mm-hmm.
The cartoon, I'll give it maybe a 6 or 7, maybe an 8 on a good day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a great cartoon for the time in the 80s. I'm between 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Now the movie. Oh man, the movie.
Bingo.
Did I say more?
Say
It
more.
was. It wasn't a part of that scene that I liked. There's some funny parts. I'll give him that. The car was stupid, feeding it garbage to get it moving. How to check to teach you not the older dragon. Then you have when he said, "Oh shit, oh you said it again." I'm like, okay, that's kind of cheesy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, their special handshake, the fist and the open thing. And like, I never got that handshake part. Do I need to say more? Or you got it, David.
It's let me play this. When I saw the movie and I heard about it came out, I saw a glimpse of the movie. I was just like, okay. I was let down, to be honest with you. It was more like your childhood were being slapped across the face. That's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like as if what you were hoping to see, you got robbed. That was a highway robbery. And they were the first of a kind. This is 1994. That was the start of all the later on highway robbery they were doing from game adaptation.
So IBM gave it a 3.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes give it 12%. That is extremely low.
Not to tell you, it was that bad. That's sure. That's remember I tell you, a lack of creativity.
Imagine if you paid money for that movie.
You didn't even try to get close to the source. It was one of the movies you want to get your money back or go to the theater for it.
I felt bad for the actors like Robert Patrick, who played also in Terminator. He's a great actor, and that was one of his worst movies probably.
And therefore, I'm talking about creativity. Not everything you should take and do if you don't have a good vision of how to execute it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Resident Evil, we talk. Come on, go back. What
Dude,
are you touching?
Keep going.
Go back. We'll talk about Resident Evil, which we already talked about already, and there's more on the list we need to touch. So, Resident Evil, we have dissected. We are talking about that one. If you want to go in detail, Resident Evil, that'll be for another conversation.
Yeah, again, I think the 02 one is one of the best ones, personally.
Yeah, of the whole franchise.
The reboot, the Recon City, whatever it's called, I think it dropped the ball way too far. All right, this one, In the Name of the King.
Dungeon Sea Tale.
Don't know anything about it. Can't talk about it. Do you know anything about it, David?
They were based on a game. But when I saw the movie, it looked like it made some good sense of it. But at the same time, I didn't think it followed the game.
Mm-hmm.
That was the dilemma on that part. Ratchet & Clank, I played the game heavy.
I have not.
This Ratchet & Clank movie 2016, they made the PS4 game. PS4 game to mirror that, I believe. Either PS4 or PS5, which one was it? Because the original Ratchet & Clank game, it was not. It had all the characters down packed, but it was like rebooting the storyline.
I know Ratchet & Clank. What I do know is big. It was heavy in a lot of like tech stuff, CGI, all that stuff. I mean, the game I'm talking about right now. It was a big fan base because they keep pushing game after game after game after game out, and all of a sudden it died. No good new game came out in a long time.
This Tomb Raider. So the Ratchet & Clank, I could say they did a reboot on the game because of this.
This is the Tomb Raider I was talking about earlier.
Tomb Raider, I will have to watch it and see for myself.
But you can't just watch it. You got to play the reboots first. Not reboots, the remakes.
I'll have to play that then.
You got to play at least the first one because the first one and this one align pretty well together.
I mean, somebody did their homework.
Yeah. What I personally think, because this came out so fast, after the first game out, this was already halfway made already. They made the game to match the movie or vice versa. And they did a really good job. The game is very good. I cannot tell you too much. I was spoiling it for you, David.
I'll find a time.
One thing I will say is you're gonna be edging to see. They changed a lot. Keep that in mind. They changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's more a survivor game now versus a Tomb Raider game kind of thing. Makes sense?
It's a Tomb Raider with more treasure hunting.
All right, we'll talk about. And you never ran out of ammo. That's a funny thing too. Far Cry. You got anything about that, David? Because I don't.
No. I didn't play Far Cry. That was a heavy PS2, PS3 game. But never got a chance to play that game. Hedgehog.
Sonic. I know where. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the Sonic CGI. when the first Sonic came out, you remember the whole shit show, right?
Oh,
They had to go back and fix it because everybody was outraged how fucked up Sonic looked.
Ladies and gentlemen, when they did the first Sonic movie, Sonic looked like a werewolf.
Let me see if I can bring a picture up.
The first Sonic was looking like a werewolf. That's how bad it is. It looked like it saw a full moon and just. And here the problem. Look at that.
Right here. I don't know what they were thinking about dropping it. It really looks like a werewolf. I'm not even joking. You're right, David. I never thought about it like that. Like he's on like a werewolf on crack, or
Pretty
when the
much.
parents were they're receiving him, they're both on cocaine.
That's what the issue. Remember I tell you, when game adaptation, you gotta be careful. You really, really do.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the story. Did you watch any Sonic game on the movies?
Silent Hedgehog.
Yeah.
I need to watch it. I think it's on Netflix or either on Hulu. I gotta watch all three.
Don't know if it's on Netflix or I know Paramount Plus has it.
I believe Hulu has it too as well. I gotta check it out.
I don't know. I'm not gonna sit there and argue because I don't know.
Let's see what they say. Let's be clear. Sonic 2 it's not a big downgrade from the 2020 movie. It's just not an improvement upon it. Sequel is cute. See? Let down. Lack of creativity.
So with that, to me is Sonic really never had a real storyline. Let's be honest here. It was a guy who ran around collecting coins and being Dr. Robotic. Or Dr. Egghead. Depends which version you want to talk about. That's it. They want to do a backstory. Okay, I'll give them that. Not bad backstory, actually.
When you play the game, it did have its own storyline, but that wouldn't match the game.
I didn't beat the game. I didn't play the whole thing. Again, I was very young. Again, bringing Knuckles in it, cool. Tails, cool. The part 3 part, I had an issue. Bringing Shadow in it. Not because they brought Shadow in it, is who played the voice for Shadow again. Every time I'm listening to his voice, I'm thinking of a Matrix. You know what I'm saying?
It's ridiculous. I don't know what to tell you. Remember what I said. When you do game adaptation, you can almost end it into a shit show.
Yeah.
If you like,
So we're gonna,
it tell me that they never play the game to begin with.
yeah. Okay. Again, Tomb Raider we talked about. We're gonna move on to Doom. Oh, I got a lot to say on this one.
Oh God. Oh, I'm gonna read what they say. Doom is one of those glorious video game movies that wear to the origins right on a tactical sleeve. No, it wasn't good. Transitioned at one point into a full first-person shooter mode.
I don't understand why they have it in 9th place. It was one of the worst movies out there.
They try to make it seem like it was a great. It was not a great movie. Why
I
are they
would have
lying?
that lie higher than the list. At least in maybe
No. 9 on the list.
Again,
Glorious.
I would not have it on 9. I would have it on like maybe 41 or 42 up there.
Here's the problem. The fact that they wrote there, Doom is one of those glorious video game movies that where it origin right on the tactical sleeve. It did not. It did not. That was the bullshit. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm being crystal clear. This, whoever Maggie want to call it, Vulture, they don't know nothing they're talking about. That movie was a shit show. Everyone who played that Doom game said it clear as day. The Rock destroyed the game, destroyed the movie. He didn't do too well. So why do you have someone writing that? How much did they pay him to write that piece of crap?
So here's the thing.
They were being debated many times on how The Rock destroyed
So
Doom,
let's
destroyed
take it.
G.I. Joe. But you have to write into it was one of the glorious? Are you smoking weed?
Here's the thing, David. So you have you have the Rock. You don't have the Demon Slayer, first of all, the main character in there. You have all the weapons, but not the main character. But it focused only on the Rock mostly. I understand that was his first movie, one of his first movies. He wanted to be the main guy. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that sometimes.
No. Doom was a heavy play game among the fellas, among the young boys. And when a huge number of people were complaining how the movie was a piece of shit, that The Rock destroyed the movie. How in the world did they put come say that The Rock did well? Make it make sense. So who's lying? Who's telling the truth?
Yeah, that's my point.
Too many people got into the debate and discussion talk about Doom was one of the worst movie The Rock have done. And somebody over here is saying one of the most glorious video game movies. Are you sure the guy wasn't a victim of the diddler?
You're an asshole.
Now I'm being an asshole right now. The biggest thing Doom has got going for it though, it two male lead, The Rock and Carl Urban. No, sir. The biggest two thing going for the Doom is that they bent you over and did like a diddler. They go to the actor. No. It was a disaster. He didn't do well in Doom. He didn't do well with G.I. Joe. He destroyed that franchise.
I don't think he destroyed, but it wasn't something they should have made him the main character.
Whoa.
And we argued about that before, remember?
That's Potter. Hold on.
Hey, guys, get this guy in here really fast. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president. Mr. President, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good, pretty wiped. Actually, very long day, very physical day, but wanted to get in towards the end of the show, so here I am.
I don't hear this. I was working all day and I still did a show, and my job is very physical. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you trying to say?
Mine was more.
Well, I'll bet you $10 is not. I'll put you in my kitchen for one day, and you'll be tapping in half a day.
If you're a system admin and you gotta go into the closet and deal with these server setups, something you're yanking our server that weigh almost maybe from 50 pounds.
Oh, here we go.
50,
100 pounds, 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Pounds. I pick up a server by myself. I move it 500-pound server. I carry it on my back down 25 flights of stairs just to get it there. That's just to let you know how difficult my job was.
I will not talk crap about system admin. They got the worst. They giving a lot of shit show to go through. And they're like the last line of defense in case something goes down. They are responsible to keep everything up and running. Even mean you have to rip out a server or two and replace it. You know how those things feel like if you're trying to hold it, you don't have the actual equipment to hold it up? They're like almost 200 pounds. Have a 200-pound equipment resting on your knee. And you had 2 weak teammates who don't know the hell you're doing, and you just lose your cool, and yet use all your boot strength just to slide it into the rack. No, I'm sorry, the spotter. Let you have a good back brace to help you yank our server.
Did you bring your voodoo magic out?
Nah.
You get stronger, like.
Nope. I did not.
All right, Paul. Before we move on to finish up this list and towards the end of the show, what's your opinion about? I know I know you're not too big in video games, but video games into movies.
Well, certainly some of the earlier stuff, I don't really pay a lot of attention to because, I mean, they're just totally different forms of entertainment. So to try to put something into a movie where you talk about a game that's basically based on a lot of the actions that you do, I think that takes a lot of reverse engineering to try to come out with a totally different product. Certainly, I think there have been movies that have made pretty decent video games. Um, that I think certainly that holds true. But to try to write a backstory. Now, again, I say that with earlier titles. So again, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. So you had the arcade games, whatnot, and arcade games were pretty simple, right? I mean, it was basically shoot 'em up, and get the highest score for try to shoot as many of the bad guys as possible or get through as many stages as possible. The only backstory that you got was a just a high level. Okay, the queen is caught by some bad guys or whatever, and you guys got to go and rescue the queen from this enemy, and then you got to go through a ton of levels before you get there, or something like that. Or you basically go through until you get like the big boss, and at the end of the game. So like I said, pretty straightforward in terms of the what was required for the game. They didn't pay a lot of attention to the backstory. But I think with more modern titles now, and I really saw that last year when we went to Comic-Con, these games that they're coming out with, I mean, there are like storylines behind these games. They are definitely putting together, or at least imagining that this is not just going to be a game; it's going to be a story that could potentially turn into a live action or animated film or something like that. I mean, very detailed in terms of what goes into the story arc of the game. So that may be changing in terms of how games go from a game to like a live action. So we interviewed the one of the directors, one of the producers for this game that was coming out with a series, a live act, not was, I think it was an animated series.
Yeah,
And
I
we
know.
talked to the voice actors and a lot of people who were involved.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Paul. If you remember, I interviewed the creators of Next Level, and they took like video games and did mini series on Netflix. I mean,
Correct.
on Amazon. I apologize. Amazon. I apologize.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Right, but the point is, there's a lot more long range thinking when it comes into the game. It's like what you can't just think about. Okay, just having an entertaining game. It's like, how can we really leverage this to the max? So you have to start thinking about future properties that you can build off of it. So I think the thoughtfulness in the game itself is such, and even in the games themselves. Again, back in the day, I'm in the 8-bit era. So back then, you didn't have a lot of time to have. I mean, these games have like long dialogue sequences in them. Arguments are breaking out, and what do we do now? And do we go this way or that way? And it's like they're animated. They're like movies. I mean, you're playing in the action sequences, but in between all the action, there's plot lines, there's storylines, there's all kinds of things that are going on, where it's like an interactive experience more so than just shoot all the bad guys. And so it's definitely but I think the fact technology is such where you can afford to cram all of that into a game. I mean, back when you had limited resources, you can only put so much into the game, and you better focus on the gameplay and the entertainment of the game, because that's really what this thing is about. So a lot of those early movies, yeah, they try to backfill and build a storyline behind the game. When I remember Mortal Kombat came out, Mortal Kombat probably was like the biggest. Like, I remember when Tron came out in 79, 80.
Ooh,
That was a an experience in itself. I mean, the movie, I kind of get 50-50 on the movie, simply because whether or not it was whether or not it was good or good or not. But certainly you couldn't be nothing but awed by the special effects. I mean, you talk about the broke of the digital age, 3D animation and things of that nature. So it was so. Shout out to Catellia, the Mesomorph, who's in the building tonight. But certainly the it was groundbreaking in terms of where 3D and where digital was going, and all the things that would come after that. So it regardless of how good the film was, it was definitely going to make an impact. So, but like I said, so again, people trying to fill these backstories is very challenging. But again, Tron the movie came out first, and then the game came out later. Now, the first game I really remember where people raised a big stink about the game where we can go with, it was Mortal Kombat. I think that whole in the 90s, they built it because it was not only the game, but it was almost like the music, like the Mortal Kombat song that came out. There was like a house song or whatever that came out. Exactly. So it was like a movement. The commercials kind of brought you in to a lot, especially when they ported it to, I think it was like Sega Genesis and Super NES and some of those more advanced platforms that can handle.
Let's not forget the cosplay was too heavy when people were going to the theater to watch it, because we would compare about the Ghostbuster cosplay and the Star Wars cosplay. The Mortal Kombat cosplay was on an overdrive. People were cosplaying heavy just to go and see the movie.
Yeah,
that's how crazy it was.
Yeah,
so it was.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat was probably the first game I remember that was like a movement kind of thing. It really engaged, I think, people in a different way than before. Now, part of it was the graphic nature of the game, because again, prior to Mortal Kombat coming out,
example right here, Paul.
Yeah, prior to Mortal Kombat coming out, I mean, games weren't rated really. I mean, you had like back studios that would make adult games and things of that nature, but Mortal Kombat, when you saw heads getting taken off, and I remember like major news outlets like 60 Minutes, or it might have been something like, well, I don't think it was 60 Minutes, but something like, they were coming out with like articles and or sessions on are video games getting too violent. That was like the big thing, and Mortal Kombat was like the poster child.
I briefly remember that, Paul, actually.
Yeah, so Mortal Kombat was like the poster child for that. And so, so again, now I think it was almost like it was to his detriment, because when the movie came out, again, there was a lot of disappointment in the game. Again, you're talking about, I guess, the birth of CGI and digital really wasn't there, or either that or they didn't put it in. I'm not saying it wasn't there, because you had Terminator, you had Terminator 2, and so you start to get a lot of the CGI and whatnot out. But again, very disappointing. It looked like it was just cheaply done. You figure Gordo at the end, not only did he not look real, also was disappointing how Johnny Cage took him out so easily. When he's supposed to be the biggest and baddest guy in that realm, everybody was looking forward to seeing him, and it was kind of disappointing that he was basically he just didn't look believable, and the fact that he was taken out so easily, I think, was very disappointing. He got hit in the groin. That was basically
what made it funny about that movie, or the disappointment. They take him out later on in the second movie. Too quick.
Yeah. It's like it's almost like he's an afterthought when he's supposed to be, like somebody who's like really intimidating, and when you get him on the screen, it's like he's a disappointment. So I think with Mortal Kombat, I think it was too much hype going into it, and I don't think they really necessarily what they had. I didn't like the cast of it.
Which one, original you're talking about?
The original. Well, all of them, quite frankly. I mean, I didn't like. I mean, the latter movie that came out during the pandemic, during COVID. I remember watching it was on HBO or HBO Max.
2021.
Yeah, so I did like. I think that was certainly a better entry than what was produced earlier. I think there were 2 Mortal Kombat movies, if I recall, and there were 3 Mortal Kombat movies. Okay, so again, wasn't great. And I was like with Jack. I remember there was like a group of us. We all went to the theater to watch the first one, and it was like it kind of. But again, it's hard to, again, if you don't start with, these days, I think you have to start with a story in mind, because these games are so interactive or whatnot. It's like, what story are we trying to tell? How are you going to be part of the experience of what we're telling? And
Mhm.
so I think video gaming has changed since certainly my time.
And let me add to your conversation because I want to come up with a big topic because if you look at the game, the people who helped do the screenshot for the game, they would ask with people when they're showing how to do the back behind the scenes of the thing. For Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, it was around 3 they started doing a storyline for the game. The barely any storyline afterwards I the better totally correct about. Or when it around 2 or 3, they just start to build out the storyline for the actual game itself. Now when it comes to the movie, let's be real. There was too many backlash, and you were totally correct about the part of the goal. Goal was supposed to be a badass. Goal was supposed to be a threat. Johnny K was not supposed to be the one who beat Goro. I think it was somebody else in particular beating the game. But the fact that of the backlash that came out in the first movie concerning Johnny Kane character, they decided to get rid of him so quick, so soon in the second movie, which made it even worse. It didn't make no sense whatsoever. Everyone who played him on the comic was saying the same thing. So because of the backlash he got on the first movie, I mean, you delete his character, you have him killed off quickly too soon. In the second one, it didn't make any sense. So it made the matter even worse than the first movie. If I would say compare the first movie to the most recent one, which is 2021, you had to compare both ratings. You had to compare both Luke Kane. They compare the Kung Lao. The Jack from the second movie was very questionable to the most recent one. Well, I broke down earlier. So believe me when I say this, the Mortal Kombat game, movie, saga issue was always a heavy debate to all the diehards. The better said it was a movement when the game came out. It was
So
on
here's the thing:
newspaper. It was
when
on
that
newspaper
came
for
out,
being violent. It was the
when it
most
came
violent
out,
game.
I remember briefly about the violence part, but when it came out, I wasn't a really hardcore Mortal Kombat fan. But what made me a hardcore Mortal Kombat fan was one, the theme song, do, and second, it was again, I was young. I was very young, and I didn't think it was a bad movie as a kid.
The game was a
As a
phenomenon.
kid, I'm talking about.
I know. I'm talking about a kid because it was more heavy on the arcade side of things.
Mhm.
Everyone who was in middle school and high school, there were two arcade systems that make the most money for the gaming industry. It was Street Fighter games and Mortal Kombat. Everybody will tell you on the news, you have line of people line up after school, the quarter, competing among the Mortal Kombat or competing behind the Street Fighter game. Yes, Mortal Kombat was too violent. It was on the newspaper. People talk about too many kids shouldn't be playing it. You have younger kids playing Mortal Kombat when they're not supposed to play it. They can't play it at home. They play it at the arcade. That was the problem. Am I wrong, Mr. Bennett? That was a dilemma because how many parents had to catch their kid who not supposed to play it? And remember that thing that ever happened? Pow! What you doing to me? Ah!
Mhm.
That was the thing. Parents
I
would catch their
remember as a
kids.
kid, bro. I'm not joking. I'm joking. I had a Game Gear, and Game Gear took 6 fucking batteries, and
Yeah,
that was
but
a battery eater. Hang
I
on.
know.
And I used to literally go under the blankets like most kids. But Game Gear had bright lights, so you could see through anything. Instead,
I
now playing
know.
Mortal Kombat.
But there was a scene in school scene. I, there's a Chinese restaurant near the middle school or high school. In the Chinese restaurant, they have one or two arcades. And you have a bunch of kids lined up to compete. What was the common scene? Parent looking for their son or daughter. They walk around the corner to find their kid in the Chinese restaurant or the corner store playing one of those two games. What was the most common scene? To better know this, the slap behind the neck, the slap behind the head. What are you doing here? Am I
Mm,
wrong, Mr. Bennett?
no.
I
Anywhere
never had
in
to
New
go
York
through that,
City,
so I'm good.
anywhere in New York City, if you got caught after school in the arcade when you put to get your ass home and you forget track of time and you're playing Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, you had that sore neck or that sore head because you got slapped a couple of times. That was a common thing. If you have no type of good parent, if you have parents who don't care about it, they'll let you play on the arcade. They make sure you get home before the sun go down. But that Mortal Kombat had a very unique fan base that politician was trying to ban. the game because of the violence within the game, the spinal. It was Mortal Kombat the only game that I would say was looking almost realistic in a way. Even the graphics were kind of like questionable, but you're seeing the spinal cord, you see the head, you're seeing, but that was the only game that got too political. So when there was a movie behind the game and you do the movie, and the movie becomes so critical because everybody was like saying there was a letdown, what do you think was going to happen? And when Bennett said, everybody was mad with the Go incident. Go with the baddest dude in the game. He got deleted in a very unique way by a character. He's not that bad, but he would have be the one to take down Goro. Because of the backlash, they decided to make up and did it the wrong way, and they deleted Johnny Cage right in the beginning of the movie. So both of those movies had a question mark. But the latest one that came out in 2021, I think the only two cats that did well was Sub-Zero and Scorpion, like I said earlier. Every other character casting, it was questionable.
But David, there
Mr.
are
Bennett?
there was always what's called it fan favorites. Those two characters.
I'm just being objective.
No, I'm not
Well-
saying that. What I'm saying to you, is they're always been fan favorites. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it was like fan favorites based on the moves in the game. But when it came to the movies, they never fleshed the characters out where you would want to like them from a character point of view. It was like if the character had a particular ability, whatever their fatal strike was or what have you, their finishing move. That's I think what they got I like Senzu simply because I like the kicking, especially in the Mortal Kombat 2 when he did the kicking, like he would jump up and like multi kick, rapid fashion and whatnot. I think he had a lot of cool moves that were certainly in the game, but like Sub-Zero or so Scorpion or those guys. I mean, it's like there was nothing. They were like soulless when it came to the films, and so. But so again, you're asking a lot. To now one movie I was disappointed with as well was Doom, because I know the video game again. It was another one of those groundbreaking video games. Yeah, Wolfenstein 3D that came out like 2, 3, or 4 years earlier. When Doom came out, again, I mean that's definitely you want to talk about an uptick in video graphics cards processing, or the demand for video cards. That was it, because all these other games you could play without necessarily having the top of the line video cards, but certainly Doom started to stretch your system out to the max, and it had a very kind of almost like an Aliens type feel to it as far as the video game play. But the movie was a bit underwhelming. What if Aliens could have been like a template they could have used in terms of trying to create Doom, but like I said, it didn't pan out. But I think also what you got to keep in mind is it's hard to get the quality of movie that you're looking for. A studio or an exec has to really stand behind it and say, yeah, we want to make a video game a movie. Just the fact that you call it a video game, you're not going to get a lot of these major studios behind it. No one's going to give you $200 million to say, look, go make this movie, regardless of how popular it was. And I think it showed, like I said, in Mortal Kombat. In the Mortal Kombat series, I thought, certainly you could tell it wasn't top of the line. It was almost like a one of those, what was that company, film company back in the day? The same company that did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one. Who was that? What was the company, though?
I forgot the name of the company.
But they made a lot of kind of like B-rated films or B plus. It was like basically a straight-to-video film. I mean, you didn't put the real resources behind it to make it like a real blockbuster film. It showed up in the people that you cast, and it also showed up in just the quality of the production itself. But that's a hard sell. That's why I'm saying video games that are made based on movies or series or something like that, I think that you're going to have a much better time of coming out with a quality product. But again, with up to a certain period of time until very recently, you had to sort of fill in a lot of these movies with a it's like, oh, we need character development. Oh, we need storyline. We need origin story and sources. Most of the games back in the day, again, the storyline was the little blip that they read. When you put your 50 cents into the game, they play a little storyline back in, back in age 9, the queen has been captured and she's up in the castle, and you the brave soldier, I'm sending you up to go and rescue her. That was it. And then everything else was about the gameplay.
Yeah, yeah. So, hang on one second. Let's get Wally in here. Why was
Seriously, no,
seriously, yes.
no.
All right, we got on this, bud.
So what is this? This is like what, video games going into movies?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for the lack thereof of certain video games that I actually had played, their movie adaptations. I mean, some of the movie adaptation wasn't bad. I mean, for me, like, I know Mr. Ben talked about Mortal Kombat, but for me, like, certain Mortal Kombat movies, they weren't that bad to me. I mean, in comparison to Street Fighter, yeah, that was bad. But as far as Mortal Kombat, no, they were actually way more better. It was, I say Mortal Kombat was a cleaner project. Was slightly more of a cleaner project than Street Fighter. Street Fighter, there was like certain things that were just no, like character choices were just no. Even now with the rumors of people that are playing the newest Street Fighter, it's already like a no.
Wally, tell me if I'm wrong when I said it earlier. I say M. Bison in the first Street Fighter movie looked like he had COVID before we got COVID. Am I wrong?
Wait, say that one more time.
The Street Fighter movie where Jean-Claude Van Damme portrayed as Guile.
Uh-huh.
And whoever this actor who portrayed as M. Bison looked like M. Bison had COVID.
I guess so.
He was flying with no muscles.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, that's the thing about like those characters that I just couldn't really even ride with. It's like Bison literally walks and breathes with neither like what I think with blind eyes, and then of course change it to like purple or eyes. Like, come on now, like y'all didn't did that at least once. So it's very
here's the problem.
lackluster.
Everybody who went to high school, middle school were playing the Street Fighter game on the arcade. Bison was buff. He got the dimension. He got the look. He got the feel. He got the aura. But when you watch the movie, you were forced to put your face close to the screen to see if you have any muscle left. Like, where are the muscles? What did he do? And like, he got older. He got the thing. Did he have COVID before we got COVID?
Yeah, but my thing is, even with that, I mean, that part wasn't even it for me. It was just like, because let's be honest, you look at Bison in video games, and you think about a Bison in real life, you're not gonna find a Bison that moves like that, really, really, with that type of muscle mass. Like, you're just not. So that's one thing. But as far as just looking the part, like, okay, the suit, yeah, you got the suit down, great, but at least actually look like the man in some form of facets. Where's the purple eyes? Like, give me the tangibles. Like, you just give me the tangibles, and we're good. You couldn't even give me that. And then whoever said, "Hey, Jean-Claude Van Damme, yeah, be Guile." Where's the hairdo at? What? Like, what? No. Sorry, no. I get it. Yes, don't get me wrong.
You forget about Blanca and Dacio? That was even worse.
See, and this is why sometimes this is why anime should never be converted to movies, at least live action, because literally you just can't set the part correct.
Video game was worse than an anime part because when you saw that Street Fighter, there was so much you can criticize on that movie alone.
I'm just glad that they didn't do Akuma in that movie. Where this is why I'm also criticizing the newest one that's coming now, because
I heard
they're not going to deliver that. I know they're not going to deliver that.
They said they're going to put Roman Reigns as Akuma. I'm like, huh?
Of course.
The only character in the Street Fighter that made a little sense to me was Chan Li, Meng Vong Wing, who played it.
Oh yeah, of course.
It made at least make sense. She's the only one that made sense, to be honest with you guys.
The only thing is she didn't have the thunder dyes. She didn't have physique. That's it.
Back then, now if you look at her now, she has a physique.
Oh
on
yeah,
her.
she probably have him now, but she's as far as the
But-
role.
The thing is, I get it. A lot of the character in the Street Fighter video game, you cannot find the actual actor who will fit it. You may get close to it, but there are too many characters that you know you're going to screw up. Ken and Ryu, you're going to screw up on that one regardless. Biolog, who do you have that will fit that? Vega. I'm not even going to talk about Sagat. Sagat, that's an ultimate. The Dalsim they put there, who put to be a doctor, was hanging out with Blanca. I was like, okay. The only one close to the character was E Honda. He was a big fat.
Honestly, yeah, I think that's the only thing they could have made
See?
that actually
That-
was legit. Probably.
And the thing
Beyond
is,
that's too easy.
it was. I don't know how people were reacting to the movie. I can tell that was one of those movies which you get your money back. That was one of those movies. If you went to the theaters, you saw it, and you played the game, you was throwing your drink at the train. You were throwing your popcorn at the train. You were like, "What the f is this? I want my money back."
Because
That
again,
was that was on the top list of don't ever show it in the movie theater ever again. It was that bad. And hearing somebody say Doom was the great, I was like, okay, who wrote this piece? Literally. Doom and Street Fighter were the two heavy criticized game to movie that people were saying it was a disappointment. And when I read this, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I can try Street Fighter 1994 movie over and over and over to the point whereby the director come out from the grave and say, okay, I'm sorry. I messed up. I'm not going to do it again. I said, no, your predecessor will do worse than you now. Wait to see how far they go.
not far enough. I promise you, the moment I see the Akuma and it don't got no red eyes, it ain't doing nothing demonic. I already know it's over. 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 There's just certain things like look, I always say it again. Body physique, it will always be a thing that I'll let go because it's just not going to be the same. But you have to bring the other tangibles. Where's the elements of the blast, the movesets, just everything? Like no.
And that's why I say certain things should be left alone, like anime or game. If you cannot get close to the adaptation of what it's supposed to be, and you have a huge movement of fans who hoping to see how it's going to look like, how you think they're going to feel when they sit down and they see it, and the first thing that comes to their mind is, I need my refund. I need my refund. What is this? And that's an issue. The Mortal Kombat was more controversial because the movie did not did too well. You hear what Mr. Bennett say? People were pissed with the first one to the point where, while they think about it, because of Johnny Cage took out Goro in the first Mortal Kombat movie, they have him get killed quickly in the second one. But make it make sense.
I mean, honestly, it is what it is on that part. I can't really do nothing about that.
And
It's
the second
like-
was worse than the first one. Chemical, Willie. Chemical, Willie.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying though. I actually agree with him. For me, it was okay. Like if you talking about in comparison to other movies or let alone other fighting movies,
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat is a
would,
better movie than Street
I would agree
Fighter.
with that. Yeah,
It
look,
is.
I mean, where it's the bar is low, relatively speaking. So, I mean, compared to the other ones that you guys talked about earlier and whatnot, yeah, I mean, by default, I mean it's still not saying a lot, but it's still.
I mean, I
the
wouldn't
better-
even say
the
just
better
by
of the
default.
bunch.
I mean, I'll say it like this: when you're talking about like elementals, you see the elementals in Mortal Kombat. You don't see it in Street Fighter. So no, I have to give it a Street Fighter. I mean, I have to give it to Mortal Kombat because they have the elements. You literally get every over here, come over here. What?
No,
You get all
the
elements.
last Mortal Kombat movie seemed like it's a makeup for the first two.
But you still get all the elements. I mean, you don't get that out of Street Fighter. You just don't. None of the live actions give you that. But Mortal Kombat, it actually does. I have like don't force me to choose.
In my book, I feel like Street Fighter and Fist of the North Star are competing for the worst movie adaptation ever. See, you can't argue that one. You can't.
How am I? Again, they don't have the tangibles.
And now you gotta talk about creativity. Why do something you lack the creativity, lack the vision, or trying to put something on the big screen so that you're not, if you don't have the vision to pull it, leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
I think that's the problem. They don't want to leave it alone. There's too much money to leave on the table.
Like
did you guys ask the question in reverse?
I'm sorry?
Did you ask the question in reverse?
One person at a time, please.
No, go ahead, David.
No, sorry. I apologize. My elder.
It's fine.
No, I'm saying, so, I mean, given we don't have as much time in the show, I think the overall takeaway is, you're not going to have a lot of successful movies, or we can't even think of one positively to say, hey, that was a great video game turned into a movie. I think we can generally agree that that's not going to be the case for any titles. Just looking at the list that you put together. So, but again, flip it to the other side. Just do it the other way. Take a movie. What is your favorite video game based on a movie?
So the problem with me is, like, my favorite video game was based on, it would come out a movie and they destroyed it.
Well, I mean, I know you're saying before, like, okay. I mean, look, let's see, what video game that was based upon a movie?
Yeah, really good video game that you enjoy based on a movie.
That were based upon a video game. I mean, that was based upon. Wait, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know a lot of video games that are based upon a movie.
That's a good question. I'm going through my head right now.
Oh man. He threw that for giggles. He threw that in there for giggles. Yeah, I need to think that I need to search this up because I don't even know.
Me neither. That's why.
Mr. Port put a very good question on that. Now I gotta do my homework on this. I think there will be a part 2 to this discussion.
Okay.
That'll be a part 2 to this because that's a good question right there. Now I gotta do my homework on that.
I mean, for me, all the classic titles I think go in there. I mean, you look at, like I said, Tron, again, very crude at the time, but again, I mean, certainly I enjoyed playing it quite a bit. The Star Wars video game that came out with the vector graphics back in 1983. I mean, that was certainly a great that was certainly a great one. I mean, just pick a movie of the especially any of those movies of the of the 80s, and I think that Firefox from the movie Fox with Clint Eastwood, that was a nice game because it combined a lot of, like, at the time, pretty high end in a foreground special effects with the ship kind of over top of it. It was almost like, I forget the game that came out that was pretty revolutionary at the time, but it almost used the same game engine as that one. I have to bring it up, but I mean, there've been several games that have turned out to be pretty good based on a movie or some sort of live action, something that they've been able to.
Tron and Star Wars are the two exceptions because Tron was very iconic for how it was done in the movie, to the point whereby it took the material from the movie to perfect the game. Star Wars, on the other hand, there was so many materials to put together, and they noticed there are so many Star Wars franchise because the material is so much.
All right,
So I'll give you that one.
so another one I just realized that after I just let my brain just start up out of nowhere. 007. That's one. The James Bond saga.
Yeah.
That's
Other
way
than
too much.
that,
That's way too much material.
yeah. Because other than that, honestly, because when you said what video games are based upon movies, I mean the only other obvious is pretty much any of the comics. Because there's a bunch of Spider-Mans, the Batmans, whatever other games you can think of that are out there.
Yeah. RoboCop. You guys remember the RoboCop video game?
I saw that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw that in my checks.
RoboCop was what the game itself. It's like an extension of the movie.
Mhm.
You have to give
Ghostbusters
credit
is another
due.
one.
And of course,
Ghostbusters-
the Batman, when the Batman '89 movie came out, the Batman video game, that was pretty, that was probably pretty high
The
tech at the
Yeah,
time.
that was like Nets.
No, the Batman video game that I play on PlayStation 2.
I'm talking about the arcade game. I'm talking
Yeah, that's why I
about,
said
okay.
Nets. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think he's talking about amongst that era.
You're right about that because that is a good question. Because even the one for the PS3 and the PS4, that Batman game went a little much further. It was always as if they want to make it up to the book and to the movie, and they stretched it out even more in detail. So I could say that, but the boy acted very good, solid.
That's another thing. I guess the other one that they have in there is like Indiana Jones. They also did the Friday the 13th adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much it.
I think you need to do a part 2 to this and do the other way around, movie to video game, and that criticize which one did close, which one did not do too well because he asked a solid question on that part. We
Mhm.
criticizing movie that based off video game and Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Doom are the top 3 to get shoot at.
Right. And then you have to look at, I mean, I guess video games based on characters. Like I remember the Superman game. That was pretty cool at the time. That was an arcade port. And then especially in the PC era, all of those Star Trek games.
That's right.
So you had the Star Trek role playing games. You had
Mhm.
the not just the action, but the games where that was more okay. You go into certain settings or whatnot. You walk left, you
Bingo.
encounter somebody, and So I think a lot of those early PC games, Star Trek, I think certainly they had quite a number of games that came out, and they continue to churn out games. Certainly for the Star Trek series as well as for the Star Wars
Lord of the Rings.
that are pretty good as well. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. They had the movie before they had the game.
Oh yeah, Harry Potter is another one. I think.
Yeah.
Another one too.
Yeah.
But
Like I
think about
said,
it.
I think in the era that we're in now, like I said earlier, there's going to be a lot more harmony because again, these guys, you have to think outside of just making a video game or just making an animated or just making a movie or something else. You got when you
Right.
talk about intellectual property. These folks now, it's like, how can we get all this out of it? We want merch, we want games, we want
And you're right.
movies, we want everything. So it can't just be in a bubble Superman 64 games. So
Yeah, that ain't the only game out there that's cursed.
Ladies and gentlemen, they get a shout out to Chemical. He hit it on the nail with that one.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
low, even for him. I don't give a shit.
Oh, that was not the only game. I know that's not cursed. Trust me, there's another one out there that's cursed.
But Mr.
Yeah.
Bennett, you have a real strong point on this part. Movie to game. And that is where I think the game developer had a lot more material to work with because of the hit of the movie did in the theater box. They realized they need to not only do it justice, but make it an extension of the movie.
Yeah.
Because Lord of the Rings had 2 versions, one for Lego and one for a real life version. Star Wars the same way too, to the point whereby the merch, the franchise, it got to the point whereby not only did the Lego game, but they actually had the Lego itself.
Mhm.
It was selling to this day. Since it was Lord of the Rings, it didn't stop selling. The IP is still making money off of that. So you do have a solid point on that part of things. But some of these movies made way more money on the merch side of things,
Mhm.
on both the game, either be the Lego or the real life version, as well as the merch. Lego selling its toy version of it. That would have killed it. So you hit that on the nail.
Yeah.
So that's a very good interesting conversation on that.
Right.
It's just
And
that
I got one. It's not. It's in neither category. I haven't seen it yet. This conversation is now making me want to see the movie. I know a couple years ago, Ready Player One came out. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, that actually is a very, very, very good movie.
Yeah, so that, I mean, it's not based on anything, but the fact that it's almost like Tron 3.0, in that you have this reality, and then people get caught up in it, and it just gets deeper and what. So it's because when I first saw it, when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, I don't know if it's worth the money, but I think I may want to check that movie out, and because I understand
So
there's another
Paul,
one, there's a sequel coming out.
I can say comfortably, I'll spoil anything with it. It's every IP you love, pretty much, of gaming, like Mario, Donkey Kong, all the Back to the Future, all that stuff, mesh into one. And but they do it in a good balance. Second, I was like you, didn't want to watch it. I think it was stupid. To be honest with you, I said, it's like retarded. My cousin goes like, just watch it, dumb dumb. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it, bro. Like, you're gonna watch it, you're gonna enjoy. You're gonna see you at old people. All right, I'm like, listen, it's free. I don't have to pay for it. Fuck it. I looked at him like, I fucking hate this guy right now. I literally said that how good it was. So, all right, guys. Let me finish the list so we can get our final thoughts really fast. I'm going to just go right through this. So we talk about Street Fighter, Grand Theft Auto, Grand Theft Detective Pikachu, Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know how Pikachu.
He mentioned it too. That's the funny part.
oh Lord, go back up. Look
I
at that
understand how
picture.
Pikachu is sixth place.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so crazy. Oh, that's so crazy. He mentioned
All right,
that
Sonic the
too.
Hedgehog, Super Mario Brothers.
Look at that.
94 is one that fuck you, bro. Who
I'm trying to tell you, baby. Yeah, Mortal Kombat, baby. Trying to tell
Look,
you.
4.
But no, I'm not arguing about Mortal Kombat, but they're saying Super Mario Bros. 93 is top 4 best movies.
You really see what I'm talking about right now?
This guy's on crack.
Thank you.
Even that live action
This guy's on
adaptation
fucking.
was
He's on heroin. Yeah, no, this guy's on fucking heroin. Who wrote this fucking thing? I'm sorry. Like, he needs to go fucking have, motherfucker. I'm sorry.
Where did that came from?
What, the list?
No, Werewolves Within. What's that?
Yeah, I'm never heard of that.
This year. No, 21. I'm not sure what.
Wally, hold on.
No.
The guy said Doom was one of the best movies. Doom. By The Rock.
Werewolves Within. What type of shit is this?
Wally, let that sink in. The guy who wrote that article said Doom was one of the best movies that The Rock did. Doom.
Well, one, I never watched them, nor have I played the game, so I don't care.
Okay, I'll give you that one because a lot of people they was like they were getting that.
The only thing I have known for sure
is a role playing game on PlayStation. I just looked it up.
What, the
A
Werewolves
VR,
Within?
actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they converted that to a movie?
Yeah.
Well,
So, all right, guys, let's get our final thoughts. And I'll have David go first, Paul next, Wally you last.
Final thought. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those type of conversation that you have to have it among your peer and your circle and act their honest opinion. Believe me, there's a lot of mixed bag conversation on this one. Yet I will stop on a couple of these things, but I'll be honest though. Making an adaptation of a video game is not that easy, but based on what Paul said, making a video game based on the movie adaptation or the TV series, that works better. So I believe that's the only direction you can do. Other than that, it was a great, interesting conversation. So, well, I would say one of our best so far. I think we should go further on these because it will bring you to start to think about it more and be like, Did he do it well? Did he do a good casting on this one? Did they even think it through to get the vision out? Because it's all about art. Producing a movie is an art form. Now, it's like saying I do a crappy ass painting and when you pay a couple of $1,000,000 for it. Really? Come on. Somebody saying I take a banana and you tape it, and that's $6,000,000. A tape banana on the wall, that's art to you? I digress. But it's a very interesting conversation based on a different point of view. Other than that, I enjoy the show.
Well, like I said, it's going to take people to take video games seriously in order for someone to try to make a move to turn to something beyond a video game. I think in today's market, they're doing so, and I think they're going to be very cautious about how they treat the entire IP, and they're going to want to maximize it on all levels. So I think we will start to see better products that come out overall. The one interesting, but I'm kind of surprised no one's really entertained yet, because I was just looking it up as people giving their closing thoughts. People haven't looked into making some sort of live action, if not a movie, then maybe a series or something like that. Was Grand Theft Auto. I thought that by now somebody would have thought about, hey, because again, it has a lot of elements. He has a lot of gangster elements to it, a lot of mob, a lot of criminal elements to it. People like cars or whatnot. So you have like the Fast and Furious franchise, or what have you, and you would think that somebody would greenlight a series that's sort of based on that. But again, who you're going to cast, who you're going to, how much is a studio is going to put in terms of budget, getting the right director, someone who's going to treat the subject matter seriously, someone who may have a very intimate knowledge with the series. Not only Grand Theft Auto's been out for many years. And so, you may have to ask yourself, well, which iteration, which version, or what have you, because I don't know if it's been, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if there's been like a continuous cast of characters throughout, or it's like every game been a different experience or a different set of
Similar
scenarios.
amongst some, and then it sort of deviates later
Right.
on.
So let's just say if you just focused on one series in particular and built a story arc around that, you would think something like that could potentially do well, because again, a lot of the elements, especially with the criminal underworld and all the players involved, are things that you would think would be, that would be popular regardless of the, regardless that it's coming from a video game. And another thing that's also been associated with Grand Theft Auto is the music. That I could certainly see somebody, if you want to take a big risk on, I think that franchise you could possibly do something with. Like I said, if not in a movie, then maybe in a series of some kind so that I would like to see if they can pull that off. But other than that, I would say expect in the next few years to see more and more of these properties become major live action productions, or even if it was like an animated series. I think that you would do better. So Chemical saying, I don't think you can make video game movies anymore. With a video game, you're a pro tag. With a movie, you're an audience member. Possible, but like I said, I think what's going into video game production, I think in considers all of that. Because again, they're going to want to maximize on each one of those. Like I said, live action, gaming, merch, all the factors, apparel, you name it. People are starting to treat those things seriously, and I can certainly see somebody greenlighting something like that, especially a project like Grand Theft Auto. If you get the right people involved, and people are going to treat it like, okay, we're going to go all in this thing. We're going to put the $200 million in, or whatever you got to put in to make it, legit, and see what happens. You'll definitely have a fan base. I mean, because it's certainly one of the most legendary franchises in gaming history, and so you're definitely going to bring that fan base to it. But are you going to treat it serious enough where you're going to bring, again, the Gen Pop audience who's never played the game like I have, But obviously, I'm aware of the franchise. But are you going to bring those people to it? We'll see. That's it.
You know, that is very interesting that you say that name. Because I one thing I will say, right, if they ever do Grand Theft Auto, it would have to be a TV series because based upon the game, you do know like a lot of the throughout the game they have missions, and I think those missions would add into storylines. So I think it would be more perfect for a TV series than an actual movie per se for that reasons. And then of course, yeah, I mean it's a little bit tough because GTA, it went a little bit like everywhere. It's like it was like what I think it was the Italians, then it went to the blacks, then it's like okay, you know, you swing it how you swing it from that point. So yeah, there's you got to figure that out somehow. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I would say another game just because you said that one, Saint Rhodes would be another one, an ideal if they would ever touch that. The only difference is they would actually have to make it a leader because technically, when you play the game, you were the actual leader without actual any face or anything. But yeah, they'll, you know, play on that however they want to do that. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to sit here and say I was not supposed to be here. I was held against my wills. Blink, blink. You know what I'm saying? I was not really supposed to be here. Literally, I wasn't supposed to be here. See, this is the bullshit I'm talking about. Like I said, I wasn't supposed to be here. I was held against my will. I was at literally, I was held against my will. But yeah,
You
as
weren't
far
needed
as
here. That's why you weren't needed here.
with that said, other than that, yes, the fact that this list actually came down to the top 3 being a game I don't know nothing about within Werewolves Within. What the is that? What in the flying hoots is? And it, huh? That's how you
If
know
I
it's a
tell
relic.
you,
I don't even know what that is at the game.
now I tell you, weren't needed in the conversation because the type of beer they make article about. When you start to see, you start to scratch your head. We're like,
But forget that part. The next one, Super Mario Brothers. How? Why? In real life, how can you eat a mushroom and gain powers? Eat the freaking flowers.
and that version was the worst one ever. And top what?
What world do we live in? What world do we live in when you sell that?
Wally, we have been on either our or you have seen a lot of panels when they describe certain movie and they trash talk that version of Mario Brother. And the finding on
Like
the
you said,
article.
they already made the best GT movie. They said Scarface and Vice City. Oh yeah. I
Oh,
mean, technically, yeah. But Scarface had his own movie after that, though. I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
this is why I think journalism have gone.
Oh, I
crap.
said movie. I meant video game. But, okay.
I know, but think about journalism. Journalism have gone.
Oh,
crap.
I'm glad you actually said that. Thank you. Mafia is another add-in that you would have to consider too. I just remember that. I just remember that. Thanks for saying that. Chemical. Literally, you just popped that in my head.
So I think we had a very great conversation on this topic. This is something that it make you want to think and double check or triple check before you make that assumption. Because, like, Wally, what do you think I was feeling when he was going through the
You're
list?
close. I'd rather give that to Street Fighter before I give that to Super Mario Brothers.
You get that to what?
Yes, I'd rather take Street Fighter before I take Super Mario Brothers. I can't do it.
Go and take your meds.
No, I ain't taking no meds. That I would rather take that than that. No.
Sparta, can you play that clip,
They are
please?
not in the other world. The answer is no.
Can you play that clip, please, Sparta?
Wait, what?
No, not that one. The other one.
You've reached
you.
your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
Take that. No,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
still standing.
Street Fighter.
I'll still take
things.
that. I'll still take that over that. Yes, any damn day of the week. Before anything, if you tell me if you had to choose Super Mario Brothers live action versus Street Fighter live action, I'm taking Street Fighter. There ain't no question about it. There ain't no question about it.
The Sparta, do you agree?
No question about it. There ain't no question.
The Sparta, do you agree with that?
For the element of the whole thing, if you're talking about video games to live action,
I would say Street Fighter wins over Mortal Kombat any day.
I would have asked Paul better, but I know he's tired. I apologize. He has
So
job
let's get.
problems.
As that said, let's start closing out. Because it's been a long day for me too. Because I gotta be back to work tomorrow by myself all day long.
I know, but
The
this
best part being this
conversation
job.
here part 2.
Yeah, we can definitely do another part. With I got a couple of people I think I might. And I had more people that didn't show up, but that's okay. But guys, as always, this was Spartan SU Network. This is David. This is Wally.
No.
As always,
Play
stay
my
fresh,
sound,
stay
please,
safe.
before we leave.
Why do you always cut me off when I'm doing my exit intro? You always do that.
I'm sorry because I need to hear my beer sound so I can walk out a proper way. Really?
Just for cutting me off. Just for cutting me off.
Oh yes. Yes. See. You're gonna laugh at me with mines, but he got that trash for you. Okay, exactly. Shame.
I can make it work for you if you want.
Again, no, you still won't make it work for me.
As I was saying, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow at the gray area. We're actually going to do a schedule update. Let me do that really fast.
Yeah, Chemical, and that's still gonna be trash because they're gonna ruin him too. They're gonna ruin him too.
Who?
They're
Which
gonna
one are we
ruin
talking about?
the new Street Fighter movie. They're gonna ruin it.
Let's see when it comes out.
I ain't gonna see nothing.
Maybe we'll be surprised.
I won't be surprised.
I will not. I won't bet on it.
They do not
We're on
have.
gray area. We'll be talking about is it a bad parent if you put your career first before your child?
Have fun with that conversation.
Never went.
Everybody, watch that conversation, please.
All right, and on Tuesday we'll be talking about a soundtrack of success, music, and motivation. David and Wally, you guys want to talk about your show on Wednesday?
Wednesday show. What the topic is again?
Broken
Blade.
Broken Blade. I'm gonna get to work on that one right now. That's a very unique pop culture. It was a movie first before they did a series, and what was great about it, they never finished it.
All right. So
We'll talk about it.
Paul and David, Paul and Coach will have a show on Thursday. Got to find a title for it. They haven't given me yet. And next week, it's gonna be a doozy one. Wally, I really need you on this one. I'm serious. I'm not joking. I'm just being serious right now. I'm not going to get involved. I will be the referee. You guys can go at it.
What is this conversation?
Link versus Cloud, the Ultimate Hero Showdown.
Oh, see, that's the funny part. I can't never be for that conversation.
Why not?
Because sadly enough, I haven't gotten to really see those characters like that.
All right, maybe you be the referee then.
Really?
I mean, I'm probably gonna have to do some big digging research, but sadly, no.
Those two characters, really?
Yeah.
Let me see. Wait, what did you put here? You said Cloud and who else?
Link versus Cloud.
Zelda versus Final Fantasy. Really?
Yeah, I had to.
Zelda Zelda versus Final.
Look at his fucking face.
Now, see that facial expression now? You see that, ladies and gentlemen? You see that?
See. You didn't put the game behind it. That's why I'm like, oh.
I love your face, bro.
What thing I just told you? Zelda versus Final Fantasy. Link versus
I ain't
Cloud.
gonna lie. I'm more of a Final Fantasy guy. Sadly enough, I hadn't played a lot of Zelda, but so possibly biased.
I don't know if I can really get into that argument
because I'm not gonna lie. If I remember Final Fantasy the way I do, that sword is not gonna be easily.
That's Gut Junior.
To defend.
That's Gut Junior.
Which one? The Time Sword?
Cloud had a sword that's similar to Gut's sword.
And that thing's big.
But the Master Sword is pretty strong too. He's on like. All right, let's talk about it next week. Let's just get out of here because I gotta work tomorrow. Guys, as always, stay fresh, stay safe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.